Today we're diving deep into the Motorola Edge 50 Neo versus the Motorola Edge 50 Fusion, two compelling mid-range smartphones that launched just months apart in 2024. The Neo arrived in August while the Fusion hit the market back in April, and both phones are targeting that sweet spot around $300 to $400 where you want flagship features without the flagship price tag. What makes this comparison particularly interesting is how Motorola positioned these devices differently despite their similar pricing. The Neo focuses on premium build quality and camera versatility, while the Fusion prioritizes display size and battery life. For full specs and up-to-date pricing, check out the links in the video description below. Starting with dimensions and build quality, there's a pretty significant size difference here. The Edge 50 Neo measures 6.07 by 2.80 by 0.32 inches and weighs 6.03 ounces, making it the more compact option. The Edge 50 Fusion is noticeably larger at 6.37 by 2.88 by 0.31 inches and weighs 6.17 ounces. Both phones feature that trendy eco-leather silicone polymer back that gives them a premium feel, though the Neo offers an additional plastic back option. The Neo gets the edge on protection with MILSTD 810H compliance alongside the standard IP68 water resistance that both phones share, meaning it can handle drops in extreme conditions better than the Fusion. When it comes to display, this is where things get really interesting. The Neo packs a smaller 6.4-inch LTPO OLED panel with a higher resolution of 1200 by 2670 pixels, giving you 460 pixels per inch. That LTPO technology is key because it dynamically adjusts the refresh rate to save battery life while still hitting 120 Hz when you need it. The display can also blast up to 3000 nits peak brightness, which is absolutely incredible for outdoor visibility. The Fusion counters with a larger 6.7-inch POLED screen at 1080 by 2400 resolution, so 393 pixels per inch. It can run at 144 Hz internationally or 120 Hz in Latin America, but tops out at 1600 nits peak brightness. The Neo uses Gorilla Glass 3, while the Fusion gets the newer Gorilla Glass 5 protection. Under the hood, we see two different approaches to performance. The Edge 50 Neo runs on MediaTek's Dimensity 7300 processor, which is a solid mid-range chip built on a 4nm process with performance cores at 2.5 GHz and efficiency cores at 2.0 GHz. The Edge 50 Fusion uses Qualcomm's Snapdragon 7's Gen 2, also built on 4nm technology with cores running up to 2.4 GHz. Both phones come with up to 12 GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 512 GB of UFS 2.2 storage, so multitasking and app loading should be snappy. The Snapdragon tends to have a slight edge in gaming performance thanks to its Adreno 710 graphics, while the Dimensity's Mali G6 15 GPU provides solid everyday performance and often better power efficiency. The camera systems reveal one of the biggest differences between these two phones. The Edge 50 Neo brings a much more versatile triple camera setup with a 50-megapixel main camera featuring an f/1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization, a 10-megapixel telephoto lens with 3x optical zoom and OIS, and a 13-megapixel ultra-wide with autofocus. That telephoto lens is a big deal at this price point. The Edge 50 Fusion keeps it simpler with a dual camera system, including a 50-megapixel main camera with f/1.9 aperture and OIS, plus a 13-megapixel ultra-wide with autofocus. Both can shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second, but the Neo adds 240 frames per second slow-motion capability at 1080p, while the Fusion maxes out at 120 frames per second. Battery life and charging tell an interesting story about how these phones approach all-day usage. The Edge 50 Fusion packs a larger 5,000 mAh battery compared to the Neo's 4,310 mAh cell, which translates to roughly 10 to 15% more capacity. That extra juice means the Fusion should give you longer screen-on time for media consumption and gaming. We're talking potentially 7 to 8 hours versus the Neo 6 to 7 hours. However, both phones support the same 68W turbo power fast charging that can take you from 0 to about 50% in roughly 20 minutes. The Neo's LTPO display technology helps it compete better in battery efficiency despite the smaller capacity, as it can drop the refresh rate down to 1 Hz for static content. Neither phone supports wireless charging, but the fast wired charging somewhat makes up for that omission. For connectivity, both phones are well equipped with comprehensive 5G support, though the Neo has a clear advantage when it comes to network coverage and international compatibility. The Edge 50 Neo supports significantly more 4G LTE frequency bands, which translates to better coverage on carriers like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, especially in rural areas and when traveling internationally. This broader band support means fewer dead zones and more reliable data connections whether you're in downtown Manhattan or backpacking through Europe. The Neo also gets additional 5G bands, including the crucial mid-band spectrum that carriers are rapidly deploying for that sweet spot between coverage and speed. The Fusion covers the essential bands for most U.S. carriers, but might struggle with some regional carriers or specific international networks. Both phones support Wi-Fi 6 for faster home internet speeds, Bluetooth 5.2 for reliable wireless audio and accessories, NFC for contactless payments, and come with hybrid dual SIM slots that can accommodate either 2 nano SMS or 1 nano SIM plus eSIM. They also include comprehensive positioning systems with GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, and Beidou for accurate navigation worldwide. Audio-wise, both devices feature stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos support, though neither includes a traditional headphone jack. They both support high-res audio for wired and wireless listening when you use the USB-C port or Bluetooth headphones. The speakers should provide decent multimedia experience for streaming and gaming, though audiophiles will probably want to pair either phone with quality headphones or external speakers. Software experience is nearly identical, with both phones running Android 14 out of the box and Motorola's Clean My UX interface on top. Motorola typically provides 3 years of security updates and 2 major Android version updates, so both phones should receive Android 15 and Android 16. The interface stays close to stock Android, with helpful Motorola additions like gesture controls and family space features. Looking at value and pricing, this comes down to what you prioritize most. The Edge 50 Neo typically costs around $50 to $100 more than the Fusion, but you're getting that telephoto camera, higher resolution display, LTPO technology, and MILSTD 810H durability rating. The Edge 50 Fusion offers a larger screen, bigger battery, and generally costs less, making it the better choice if you prioritize media consumption and all-day battery life over camera versatility. The Edge 50 Neo is the clear winner if you want the best camera system and premium features in a more compact form factor, while the Edge 50 Fusion makes more sense for users who prioritize screen real estate, battery life, and getting the most value for their money. Both are solid mid-range choices that deliver flagship-like experiences without breaking the bank. If this helped you out, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out more of our tech reviews linked right here. Thanks for watching.